Hello, I'm Gil Zilkha. Welcome to my channel. This video is taken from my larger video discussing the major symphonies, which is a follow-up to my previous video on the major symphonies. This one is covering the second grouping of symphonies. And if you enjoy this, I hope you'll take time to look at that larger video. Just know that you can click through it. It's divided into chapters to check out whichever symphony you're interested in. So I hope you enjoy it. Now let's go backwards in time to the proverbial father of the symphony, Joseph Haydn, who wrote 104 symphonies, just whipped them out. And he's considered the father of the symphony because of the way that he set the structure, particularly the four-movement structure with the faster outer movements, and then you had a minuet, and then you had a slower movement. And it really was the model for the next, over 100 years. With Haydn, we discussed the London symphonies earlier. That's the final 12 that he wrote, which are considered the apex of his art. Now let's try to bring a few more of those 104, the other, what is it, I guess 92 into the mix as well, but I'm going to try to cover as many as I can. Starting with a few of the Sturm und Drang symphonies, which translates to storm and stress. It was a German philosophical movement of the mid to late 18th century when they were trying to get away from the ultra-rationalism and trying to get to more expression. So you started to hear that in Haydn's music. And the first one I'm going to talk about is the Symphony number 44, the Trauer Symphony. Trauer translates to mourning. Now, it's true that it is an E minor, so it's a sad key, but it's actually not that sad, tragic sounding a work. It's just more on this sort of minor, kind of more dramatic, side of things. Now the slow movement, it's sort of this stately, it's actually in a major key, but it's sort of this very elegant, stately movement, and supposedly Haydn wanted that movement played at his funeral, hence the title Trauer. So now my top choice for this one is Roy Goodman and the Hanover Band. This is a period performance from 1990. So you know you're going to get that cleaner articulation, a little bit faster tempos, and it really works well for this symphony. They play very elegantly. That slow movement sounds beautiful, very poignant, and the faster tempos they're really articulated well. So the elegance comes through, and it's really a great way to introduce yourself to this work. Now, the next Sturm und Drang symphony I'm going to discuss is probably the most famous of them, and that's number 45, the Farewell Symphony. This one starts out very kind of more powerfully and dramatically. But the reason it's called the Farewell Symphony is actually the very end. The final movement turns into an adagio, and it ends that way. And the reason for that is Haydn and the musicians, they were at the court of Prince Esterhazy, and they were tired and they wanted to go home to their families. So as a hint, he wrote the final adagio of this symphony in a way so that they could each kind of get up, blow out the candle at their stand, and leave, to the point where there were only two violinists left at the very end. So the point was to give the hint to the prince. The recording of choice that I recommend for this one is Antal Dorati and the Philharmonia Hungarica, recorded in 1970. And if you know anything about Haydn symphonies, you know that Dorati recorded all of them. And it's a very good recommendation if you do want to hear, or do want to possess all of them in one huge box. I think for this particular one, Dorati's interpretation works well because he's got more of that power and that warmth that work, especially in that first movement, and then also the sort of the lush sound that he brings to the adagio at the end. That really works, but it's never heavy. It still retains that classical elegance. You really can't go wrong with Dorati in Haydn, and that's a great way to learn this symphony. And then finally, for the Sturm und Drang symphonies, I want to mention a couple of more, and that's numbers 48 and 49. And these two are actually quite different from each other. Number 48 is the Theresia, Empress Theresia. It's titled that basically because Empress Theresia was visiting Prince Esterhazy, and she liked the work, so that's how it got the nickname. It does have this sort of exuberant, festive quality to it that I guess you might say fits with the sort of that courtliness. But then number 49 is La Passion, which is for Haydn especially, it's a really introspective work, very morose. That first movement, it's really, really gorgeous actually, kind of like a lament. And then the rest of it is kind of a little bit more dark and dramatic. For these two, I recommend the Orpheus Chamber Orchestra. So it's recorded in 1986. Beautiful playing, gorgeous sound, and they bring all the qualities that you want to both symphonies. The elegance, the energy in that first one, and then that beautiful haunting quality they bring to that first movement of La Passion, as well as the dexterity and excitement in the rest of it. So excellent choice for those two. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I hope you'll also take time to click the like and subscribe buttons. And with that, I want to wish you all a great day and happy listening.